Hey everybody, it's Murphy Slaw. I want to tell you about donating plasma. If you haven't donated plasma, you should. It is a responsible thing to do. It saves lives, and you get paid for it, so why not? So I just started donating plasma a couple weeks ago, and I'd like to tell you about the experience I've had. Because it's been an experience, actually several. So the first one, now they told me to begin with, to be fair, they said the first visit is going to take longer than the normal visits because they've got to, you've got to fill out all the paperwork, and they've got to do a physical, make sure you're healthy and that you'll be a good candidate to donate and all that. So, but they said, I think they said 2 to 3 hours, something like that. Well, I was there for 4 hours. They underestimated how long it would take to stand in those lines, because I had to stand in line to fill out the paperwork. I had to stand in line to get my physical. I had to stand in line to do the things that you have to do at every visit, which is get your finger pricked so they can test your blood, get your blood test, get your weight, things like this. But you know, all in all, not a big deal. I got the first visit done, and the first chunk of money dropped in my bank account. Yay! But then they assured me, every visit after this, expect to be there about an hour. Because it's something like 45 minutes to do the actual donation, plus the initial, when you check in, you've got to do this, you know, a little questionnaire and get your blood checked, all that stuff. So about 15 minutes to check in, 45 minutes to donate, more or less. So about an hour. Well, anyway, second visit, I was there for, I think, 3 hours. Because when I was doing the questionnaire, there was a question that said, in the last 2 months, have you had any vaccines? Well, 2 weeks prior, I had the flu vaccine, so I clicked yes. Well then, after I stood in line to get my finger pricked, and I got up there, as soon as they pulled up my account, they saw the red flag from my questionnaire and said, you need to go talk to one of the nurses. And I knew immediately what the deal was, but hey, what am I going to do? I have to go to talk to a nurse. I sat there, I'm not kidding, for at least a half hour. I sat there waiting for the nurse because there was only one on staff on this particular day, and he had a whole lot of new donors that he had to do physicals for. So I sat there for a half hour. When I finally got to him, I wasn't in his office for more than a minute because he brought up my account. I said yes on the vaccine because I got the flu vaccine a couple weeks ago, and he was like, yeah, it's no big deal. Go sit in a seat and get donated. I waited a half hour for that. So, oh well, I went and did the donation. Ooh, sorry, I blocked the camera. Yeah, so it was like 2.5 to 3 hours. That was visit number 2. The third visit, I know what to do. I got it down. I'll be here for about an hour. Well, when I checked in, the line to get your finger pricked, it was the longest I have seen yet. Because this was 4 in the afternoon, because I figured I'd go after work on a Friday. And I shouldn't have been surprised when I saw the longest line yet. But I didn't get the vaccine question. I stood in line for however, I think I was in line for 15 or 20 minutes to get my finger pricked. Which, by the way, I mean, the prick kind of hurts, but the next day, your finger feels pretty bruised and sore for, I mean, at least the next day. And so the first time I did my pointer finger, so the next day I was kicking myself because I use my pointer finger a lot, duh. So the day number 2, I did my middle finger, and it was a little bit better, but you'd be surprised how often you use your middle finger. The ring finger on day 3, whew, it hurt. I don't know what the difference is, but when she pricked it, oh my gosh, it hurt so bad. What was I talking about? Oh, so third visit, it was all going pretty smoothly, other than the ring finger prick that hurt really bad. And I went and sat in my seat, and this lady that was gonna stab my arm she got all the equipment set up, but then she was standing there looking around, and finally her supervisor came over, and he said, "Is everything okay?" And she said, "Yeah, I just need you to watch me do this." And I thought, oh, she's new. And sure enough, it turns out she was. So she stuck the needle in my arm. It actually wasn't bad. I barely felt it. She did good. And he goes, "Yeah, you did pretty good. You don't need to go in so far, though." And she goes, "Oh, I've done about 20. She was very confident in herself. She's done about 20. Well, do you know how a plasma machine works? It's pretty interesting. So they got the one needle in your arm with the hose that runs to the machine. So you're pumping for, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes, I don't know, and it's pumping blood into the machine, which then spins it in this little centrifuge, and it separates the plasma from the red blood cells. And then the red blood cells are filling up this little cup, and then once it's full, the machine reverses and it actually pumps the red blood cells back into your arm. Well, so she leaves me, and I'm pumping my arm, and it's, I'm feeding the machine my blood, and it beeps at me to say, "Okay, it's time to quit pumping so we can put the red blood back in your arm." And so I'm just sitting there relaxed watching my show on my phone, and I heard it do a different beep that I haven't heard before. And a different worker lady saw it and came over, and she kind of taps on the spot on my arm where the needle is, and she goes, in the plainest, non-worried voice you've ever heard, she goes, "Huh, looks like you have a hematoma." And I went, "Oh, what's that?" And she said, "Oh, it's no biggie. The blood isn't going back into your vein. It's just pooling under the skin." And I said, "Oh, that sounds like a big deal." No, it's okay. We'll just pull the needle out and take from your other arm today." Okay. So she wrapped me with an ice pack, and on my left arm, where the hematoma was, and she stabbed my left, I don't know why I said it like that, where my hematoma was, and she stabbed my right arm to finish the donation. And then they gave me a piece of paper with instructions on how to care for this hematoma when I get home. It basically consisted of, don't do any rigorous work for the rest of the day, and tomorrow, 4 different times during the day, do a warm compress to reduce bruising. Well, so I left and I took that paper home. This was on Friday. Saturday, it really didn't look bad at all. You could hardly tell anything had happened. It wasn't really bruised or nothing. So, and plus I was busy doing stuff, and I never did the compresses. Well, flash forward to my next donation would be number 4, and that was on Wednesday. Now, I was kind of smart, because now, since on Friday at 4 o'clock, where my appointment was, it was pretty busy. So this time, I made my appointment on Wednesday at 11, because I thought earlier in the day it won't be so busy. Well, of course, I had to take a vacation day from work so I could go at 11 o'clock, but I felt like it would be worth it, so I don't have to wait in line. So, I took a full vacation day so I could drive the opposite direction, a half hour, to the place where I donate plasma. I got there at 11 o'clock, and I checked in, and this line was the longest line I've seen yet. It was insane. And I thought, well, doggone it, I guess everybody goes at lunchtime on Wednesday. Well, I stood in that line for no less than 35 minutes. I know, because my appointment was 11 o'clock. When I sat down to get my finger pricked, it was 11:35. So, I had to do my pointer finger, because I learned my lesson about the ring finger. And it's been 2 weeks since they did my pointer, so I figured I had been healed enough. So she pricks my pointer finger, checked my blood pressure, etc. And then she noticed this. Do you see that bruise? Now this is day 5. It happened on Friday, right? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, maybe count, right? It was 5 days later. Wednesday, I've got a bruise like that. And she goes, "Whoa." And I said, "Oh, it's okay. It's just from my donation on Friday. I had a hematoma." And she goes, well, you're going to have to get checked out because I don't know if you can donate. So she gave me a little pink card, and I went over to sit by the nurse's station, and I thought, here we go again. Well, thankfully, the guy didn't take too long. I sat there for about 5 minutes, and he calls me into his office. But just like last time, it was a really quick conversation, which consisted of him saying, oh yeah, you've got a bruise. Well, it's our policy that if it's longer than 2 inches, you can't donate. And I said, well, not even out of the other arm? And he said, no, because the thing is, there's proteins in your plasma that your body uses to heal a bruise like this. And so if I donate, then they're robbing me of precious proteins that'll help heal it. So I'm a little bit frustrated because I used an entire vacation day to go do this thing. And I've been here for now 37 minutes. I know because I looked at the clock. And I can't even donate. That was it. I took a whole vacation day for this. And then, to make it worse, he then implied that it's my fault. Because then, unprovoked, he just goes, that's why we give you the instructions on how to treat it at home. Now keep in mind, this happened because of them. Their new lady, who's done about 20, she stabbed me too deep and caused this hematoma. And now I've used a whole vacation day 5 days later, and I'm still bruised, so they sent me home. I think I'm done. I don't think I'm going back for another one. So, well, anyways, that's been my experience donating plasma. So make sure you donate plasma, kids, because it saves lives. And you get paid, so... Alright, well, this has been Murphy Slaw reminding you that if something bad can happen, it probably will. Bye!